action here on the Wrestling Extravaganza. The Flying Dutchman, Ron Young, alongside Steve Lyons and our very special guest, Larry Katz. Two gentlemen that you're very, very familiar with, Steve Lyons.
Two very big men, I guess, is an understatement.
Does the word behemoth in your vocabulary?
I guess.
How about Godzilla?
I don't think this match is going to have any high-flying tactics or aerial assaults, but I think it's going to be a fight, a street fight, so to speak. Two men of this size, of this girth, I believe has been said.
I'm very surprised, not to interrupt you, to see Typhoon in this match. Everyone was expecting Axl Rotten to wrestle Bastion Booger, and all of a sudden this big surprise, so Bastion Booger now has to develop some sort of a new strategy.
Well, fighting fire with fire, Prophet brings out all of his goons to try to take out Axl. He wanted to wrestle tonight against the doctor's orders, but the State Athletic Commission wouldn't let him near the ring.
Well,
so what does he do? He brings in a great friend, Typhoon, and we have a whale of a match on our hands.
There's no pun intended there, is there?
No pun intended.
Hopefully here shortly we'll get a little bit of action in the ring, see what kind of force to be reckoned with this Bastion Booger is compared to this humongous size.
Well, two of the larger men in the sport, if not two of the largest men in the sport. Well over 700 pounds in the ring at any given time, and that certainly doesn't include Dave the Wave. Bastion Booger is hightailing it back to the dressing room area.
If Booger doesn't get back in the ring, he'll have to forfeit the match. He won't get paid. He'll have to sleep in his car tonight instead of the nice Hilton that he was promised for the match.
And we're sure Prophet will make him stay out in the car regardless of how hot or cold it may be tonight. And he'll stay up in the lap of luxury.
Ron, I just got word here. There's a message coming from the back. They've got some medical attention back there for Mitzi Millions. I'm going to make my way back here and find out exactly what's going on. There's not a lot of action going on now. I think it's the right time to go back, find out what's going on. If I don't make it back before the end of the night, gentlemen, I've enjoyed it. Larry,
nice to meet you. Good luck to you.
Again. I'll go find out what's going on.
Always a pleasure, Steve. As you see at this time, our host, Mike Nichols, is making his way back into the announcing area.
Now,
yes, Mike, have you been able to find out anything on the status of Marvelous Mitzi Millions?
Yes. She is,
I'll watch you, Mike. We're on the air.
She is, has been injured. I don't know to the severity that she has been injured, but I definitely think she will be sitting on the sidelines for a while. It was very sketchy back there. There was a lot of tending to and goings on, and you know, a lot of medical professionals back there, and that's sort of left it at there. But it shocked me to see the likes of Mitzi Millions, you know, being carried by 4 or 5 different wrestlers back to the locker room. I was back there doing the interview at the time, and there she. You know,
one of the most cruel, vicious, and heinous acts I've ever witnessed. It's really tough to keep our mind on the match at hand.
Absolutely.
Two true superstars in the sport, Bastion Booger and
Mike,
Typhoon.
I was just going to ask, Mike, what's your take on this surprise? All of a sudden, Axl Rotten bows out and Typhoon takes over.
I think Axl is... had his mind on a lot of different things, and I don't necessarily know that being inside the ring has been one of those things that has taken precedence in his mind.
Typhoon looks great. He hasn't changed a bit. Looks terrific.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the pace of this match is going to be dictated by the size of the two competitors. They certainly won't be trading leg locks and drop kicks.
No, indeed. If anything, it'll be more like belly butts.
Both have been known to apply the big splash on more than one occasion.
This could be a gut-busting match if I ever saw one.
Quite an interesting contest from Bastion Booger's perspective. He's used to being the bully, used to being the bigger of the two men in the ring. Now he's faced with a man who, although he outweighs him, faces a big disadvantage in leverage with the height advantage of a man like Typhoon.
You know, watching this match, all of a sudden I hear the theme song to the movie Deliverance in the back of my head. It's
Mike, while we have a little bit of a lull here, I just want to tell people how much of a help you were to me when I had the show on radio. I couldn't have done it without you. You were really so valuable to me in helping me put that show together.
Well, Larry, I appreciate it, and I can't say enough good things about you because...
At least not on the air. You can't say the bad things. I know, Mike. Believe me. I know how it works.
Besides, you paid me $10. You're sure that check is good, right? But nevertheless...
I'm not sure about anything in this life.
Nevertheless, when I first came to you to produce the Pro Wrestling Talk radio show, when you told me wrestling was a very popular thing, a very popular sport, and that we would go around in the middle of the night and never have an open line, I didn't believe you at first.
And it came true.
Yes, it did. And we may have been up in the middle of the night, but we never had an open line, and we would spend 2 hours talking about professional wrestling.
I stand corrected. I said they wouldn't be exchanging drop kicks, and there you saw one.
And very nicely done, I might add.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Mike.
That's all right, no problem. Anytime that you see something of a drastic nature going on, feel free.
Well, with two men this large, just about everything they do is of drastic nature. And the force of nature himself, Typhoon, totally in control at this point.
But I'll tell you, wrestling is a very, very popular sport, and very, very well received by not just middle class or lower middle class, but from people of all walks of life.
Plenty of doctors and lawyers go to wrestling all the time.
Rich people, poor people.
Yep.
Mega Man, Steves, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs.
Yep.
I mean...
Let me write that down, Mike. That was good, what you just said. I like that.
And literally from 8 to 80. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are. Everybody can enjoy the sport of professional wrestling, as evidenced by the spectacular crowd we have here tonight, witnessing the wrestling extravaganza presenting the MEWF.
We have a packed house. There's not one empty seat. As a matter of fact, Mike, it's so crowded, I had to sit on the floor for a couple minutes. I couldn't find a chair.
It's nice to know that wasn't by design, as we were told earlier. Known to do a few sit-ins in the past, I'm told.
Yeah, and we've been in a few places where we've called wrestling matches where we weren't even officially there.
This is also true, very true.
Memories.
Fortunately for us, we are here tonight.
Officially
here this evening.
I'll tell you one thing. This Bastion Booger is a big man. He is huge.
Very well traveled, very well schooled.
There was talk, that possibility that Yokozuna might have been on tonight's card, but I understand that fell by the wayside. That is a big man.
Unfortunately for us here on the Wrestling Extravaganza, but fortunately for Yokozuna, is able to garnish himself with a brand new championship belt in the WWF.
Yes, he is.
And unable to make his previous commitments. But I don't think that the fans at this point are going to go home disappointed.
No.
Seeing two superstars like Bastion Booger and Typhoon here in the main event.
That's the one thing I have to say about the MEWF, is that they truly deliver quality wrestling card for the fans.
And saying that and making that point, let me offer this to you, Larry Katz. In the time that you've been active and inactive in the independent wrestling ranks, it's really come full circle. The product is much more strong. Everyone seems to enjoy it. The crowds are getting larger every month, every week in leaps and bounds. It's really rivaling the larger organizations.
Well, you make a good point. I'll tell you what does it. The great equalizer is television. Okay? When you have someone like Typhoon or Bastion Booger on national television week in and week out, and then they come to organizations like the MEWF, they've gained a national reputation, and that's why they can draw crowds like that, like we have here tonight. And the quality of the wrestling improves as some of these bigger stars start to join these organizations. Because these are two of the biggest names in the business, Typhoon and Bastion Booger.
Axl Rotten seems to be very, very upset over some of the calls. I think I heard Axl using a few explicatives outside the ring. What do you think there, Ron?
He needs some sort of advantage. We can't really see it from our vantage point. Jabs it right into the throat again.
Bastion Booger is using a foreign object?
Yes, absolutely. An international object, as you used to say. Once again, concealed in the tights. We can see it bulging from our vantage point right now.
But isn't that against the rules?
Well, any man of profits, and Booger in particular, are certainly not against breaking the rules whenever they see fit.
That's true.
Referee Dave the Wave unable to fully check. Booger, we see it again on the outside of the leg. There's no way to tell for a man like Dave the Wave. Is that a fold of skin? Is it a foreign object? What is it?
Well, it's definitely not the Bonsai Warrior, so it can't be that foreign object.
I'll tell you one thing, Axl Rotten is in great shape. He looks terrific, even though he's not wrestling now. He's in great shape.
Absolutely in the best shape of his career.
Can you tell that Axl has lost a few pounds?
Yes, he has, and I'll tell you, when the Pro Wrestling Talk was in its heyday, he was, you know, one of the personalities that everybody looked forward to having on the show. He was terrific.
And even more so today.
Yep.
He has been a wrestler that has endured.
I think if any wrestler is synonymous with wrestling in Baltimore, it has to be Axl Rotten.
And an avalanche of sorts. Booger comes crashing to the mat. Typhoon for the big splash. Off the rope, up the middle rope, and splash up. Forget about it.
Could be it.
And that's it! Typhoon wins! Larry
impressive,
Burke,
yes.
Ron Young, Mike Nichols, Wrestling Extravaganza. Thank you, Al. Larry, thank you for being on today.